Everyone, hope everyone is well. Hope everyone had a good week. It is Erev Rosh Hashana right now, and I wanted to share a thought, something that I've been feeling in a very, very deep way as I get ready for Rosh Hashana, try to get ready for Rosh Hashana, and perhaps that's the message that I want to give over to you today. The famous questions asked by many is that Rosh Hashana is the Yom Hadin, and then it's followed by the days of Tshuva, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, and then we have the Chasima on Yom Kippurim. But wouldn't it have been much more logical, made much more sense to have the days of Tshuva, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, prior to the Yom Hadin? First, inspire us to Tshuva, and then the Yom Hadin. Yet that's not what we have. We have a Yom Hadin, and then days of Tshuva. So I think the answer is that yes, there's Rosh Hashanah is the precursor of the days of Tshuva. It's the day before the days of Tshuva. Tshuva, Avinu Malkeinu's Al-Chetz, that process, we're working on all of the details of our lives. And as we say, we clap Al-Chetz on Yom Kippur. And over the course of Aseret Yemei Tshuva, we're thinking about the details, the pratim. I'm thinking about my tefillah b'tzibur, my kavana in davening, my relationship with my spouse. I'm thinking perhaps I wasn't as careful about Shmir Shabbos as I could have been, about kashrus issues, Shmir Seinayim. I'm thinking about all of the details. But before you get to the details, we want to make sure that we have proper focus. And Rosh Hashanah is the day that sets us up and asks us, where are you pointing? Which direction are you facing? Where is Hashem in your life? You can work on all the details, but before you start working on the details, ask yourself, where is the Ribbon Shalom? It's the day where we coronate Hashem, and we feel and we connect to Hashem in our lives. We bring Hashem from the periphery and say, no, He's at the core, He's at the center, He is the Melech. And as a result, He cares about me, He loves me, He judges me, all of that. But the process of tshuva has to really be preceded by, yes, Yom Hadin, but more in fact important to know that there's a Melech, to know that there's a Dayan, and not have a relationship with that Dayan. That's really the Rosh Hashana preceding the Aseret Yemei Tshuva. And I just want to share, I shared this with the boys last night, is that for me at least, I know we're on 6-7 months living with the coronavirus, and I think back to March and April. And in March and April, there was a tremendous hisorus. Even though we were stopped in our tracks, everything stopped. But I think back to Yishai Ribo's beautiful song about Keter Milucha, about Malchus, and asking Hashem in a plaintive way, Ma ata mevakesh? Well, Hashem, what do you want from us? What do you want? What can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? And in March and April and May, there was a hisorus. And even if we weren't davening in shul, but we looked to Hashem and said, Keter Milucha, you're the king, and what can we get from this? What can we figure out from this? How can we grow from this? And then the months piled on. And now May led to June and to July. And I know for me at least, July and August were such tension-filled months, because once we got the green light that we can invite and open up the doors of the yeshiva and welcome 140 boys and other yeshivas and seminaries, then we started to get very, very entangled in the rules of the Misrad HaChinuch, of the Misrad HaBriyut, and plastic and capsules and quarantines and all of this stuff. And then Baruch Hashem, the boys came, and still more like how to navigate, how to finesse, and how to create a meaningful Talmud Torah experience with the background of Corona. And all of a sudden we've all experienced it, this fatigue and those questions, and that hisorus has been perhaps lost. We're not where we were 4 or 5 months ago. We're tired out and this is really it's too much. We're beaten down. And I think that's the experience that many of us have felt over the past, I know for me at least the past 2 months, I've had that feeling. And I think perhaps as now we get closer and closer to Rosh Hashana, it's time to recalibrate, perhaps to go back 5 months, or hopefully ahead 5 months, and ask ourselves those questions. Hashem, yeah, I've been distracted. I've been frustrated. This has been difficult, and thereby perhaps too disengaged from you, Hashem. And now it's time to re-engage. It's time to reconnect. It's time to, yes, the masks create such barriers amongst people, amongst us and Avinu Shebashamayim. And despite the barriers, it's time to regain perspective. It's time to re-engage, bring Hashem off the periphery and back into the center. Re-ask those questions. What do you want from us? How can we grow from this? And realize somehow that there is a divine plan. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is stretching us, and He's challenging us, and He's pulling us apart from each other, but somehow in order to emerge better and stronger as a world, as a community, as a society. So much has changed in the world in the past 6-7 months, and we have to recalibrate. That's what Rosh Hashana is, to coronate Hashem with the Keter HaMelucha and ask, how can we re-engage? How can we be better? How can we reconnect? And Bez Hashem will be Zoiche to do that in a real way, be Mamlich HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then position ourselves for Aseres Yemei Tshuva, so that we can then work on the details and Bez Hashem see a Tshuva Shlema Bimheira V'Yameinu. Amen.